Hi, and welcome to the Modern Persian Food Podcast. We are food bloggers,
Bita Arabian,
and Bita Nazim Kelly, and we're here to share with you the rich flavors and fresh ingredients of Persian cooking and how to incorporate them into today's modern lifestyles.
We're excited to introduce you to the flavors, tastes, and techniques we use, and also our own cultural stories and perspectives growing up in the U.S. in a Persian family. Thank you for joining us. Today in episode number 36, our topic is Persian drinks. In Farsi, we call that Nooshidani. I'm here with my lovely partner, Bita June. Hi, Bita June.
Hi there. How's it going?
Doing well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm doing really well, too. Thank you very much. Excited to talk about Persian drinks, Nooshidani.
Cheers to Persian drinks.
Cheers!
Cheers!
I think the most popular of all Persian drinks is chai, Persian tea, which is not like when you say chai, people may think of like more like of a milk-based Indian-style chai. But Persian chai is beautiful, amber colored. It's brewed with like two different kettles, a kettle of hot water on the bottom and a smaller little teapot of concentrated black tea typically. And when you pour it, you pour a little bit of the concentrated tea and you top it all off with the boiling water. It's a delicate flavor. It could have cardamom added to it or sometimes a little bit of rose water. But it's basically, I think, the foundation of Persian cuisine and culture. Tea brews, like in some homes all day, there's like chai on. Chai is probably the biggest Persian drink of them all.
Yeah, and we do a really deep dive and talk about tea in episode number 9 earlier in our podcast series here.
Yeah, and a whole episode on it.
We have a whole episode. Often it's cardamom, another really popular Persian tea if you want to avoid caffeine, which could definitely add up if you're drinking it all day long, would be to just have some hot water with some fresh mint leaves. It's quite delicious and nice for digestion as well. That's another Persian way to drink a decaf tea.
Yeah, I love actually like having like a platter of tea. You know, typically when you bring out like tea, bring out a bunch of different cups. And I love like the little beautiful Persian teacups. A lot of times you have it actually in like a clear glass so you can see the color of it, and having a platter of that and having on one side and on the other side having that same glass but with fresh mint topped with boiling water as an alternative. I love the visual of that tray and that presentation.
Yeah, and it's almost always served with something sweet. So it's usually either sugar cubes or shirni. We have a whole episode on shirni as well, which is sort of the sweets and desserts of Persian cuisine. And that one is our episode number 6 that you can refer to. Another really big Persian drink would be doogh.
Yes. We're just talking about all our other episodes too. We do touch on doogh in our yogurt episode. And doogh is a yogurt-based drink that a lot of times you'll have in Persian restaurants. A lot of times you have this already prepared when you get that, but you can definitely make it yourself as well. I personally love it with kababs, like chili kebab at a restaurant, but it's yogurt-based. It has a little bit of mint in it. It's a little salty and usually with carbonated water. So doogh is a popular one, and there's polarizing opinions of doogh. Some people love it. Some people really don't like it. Are you a doogh fan?
Yeah, our family, we're doogh family. We order it by the pitcherful when we go for kebab in the restaurants, in the chili kebabis. And yeah, so it definitely is delicious to me and a nice balance to go with the rich meats and kebabs at the restaurant. What other drinks come to mind when you think of Nooshidani?
Fruit juices, Meeveh, are definitely very popular. You know, like pomegranate juice is like huge. Pomegranate juice not only used to drink, but they use it in a lot of cooking and stews and things like that too. So, or marinades. So pomegranate juice, definitely. I always have really fond memories of carrot juice. We talked about this in our Bastani episode, but some people actually make carrot juice floats with vanilla ice cream or with Persian Bastani in a glass and cover it with carrot juice for like a little float. But I have really fond memories of carrot juice from growing up. My dad would always press the carrots in a juicer and make fresh carrot juice for us, even from when we were little kids. And even until he was much older, before he passed away, he would always make me carrot juice. And that was always like such a comforting thing to have, like a nice glass of like fresh carrot juice. And I'll get that sometimes out to some of the little cafes near where I live have it. And also some of like the burrito places actually do fresh carrot juice. So I'm always a big fan to get carrot juice.
It's so nutritious too. It's filled with vitamins. Good for your eyes, right?
Yeah, it's so good. There's another drink called Toddibi, which isn't just the juice. Toddibi is melon, is like cantaloupe melon actually. And you can actually make it with like, I think like a honeydew or a Persian melon as well. But it's actually grated. So it's not just the juice, but it's actually the pulp of the cantaloupe as well. And you grate the cantaloupe and then you mix that with a little bit of water and a little bit of rose water if you want to add that. And it's especially good when the cantaloupe is very sweet. So it makes it a really refreshing drink for like warm weather.
Yeah, and I think it's not just for breakfast in Persian cuisine. It's kind of an anytime lovely drink, maybe more in the summer. We have an orange tree that's been giving so much fruit. So I've been hand squeezing fresh orange juice.
Ooh.
My husband, he has to have a little bit of juice to take his morning vitamins. It's just a habit. And so we mostly have orange juice in the house, but we definitely are a juice drinking family. How about you?
We always have to have juice too. My younger kid always loves juice. And so if we need to get him calories really quick, if he's getting hangry and we need to get his blood sugar up, we will give him juice. He likes boxed juice. But for regular juice, we always have it in the house too for my husband because his blood sugar actually can fluctuate. So quick little glass of juice to hold you over.
From a health standpoint, I would say if you're making your own juice to try to keep all the fiber in there. In terms of like make it a little bit more smoothie form. A melon juice would be really good that way.
Yeah.
To try to preserve some of the fiber that helps with the digestion versus just leaving the sugar in.
Yeah. Good call.
What else would you say is a Persian drink?
We talked about sekanjabin last week. We talked about how you can use the sekanjabin in sharbat. So sharbat is like a syrup drink that you mix with water or sparkling water. That's served usually like in a tall glass as well. You can have that with the sekanjabin, which was like the mint vinegar sweet syrup that can also be used in different recipes and eaten as a salad dressing or as a little dip for your romaine lettuce. You can also have other sharbat like sharbat al-balu, which is sour cherry syrup. You can get that from like a Persian market, or I think actually in any kind of really ethnic market, they will have kind of like a sour cherry syrup. You could do that with lemon juice for sharbat al-limu. And there's a few different other kinds of sharbat that is basically just like the syrup mixed with the water as it's served on ice. Sometimes with basil seeds, mini basil seeds or chia seeds. They call that tukhm sharbat. And then you kind of mix it and it kind of like floats in there and makes it really beautiful. A lot of times each glass has its own spoon, so people can just mix that.
Yeah, they're really fun. The one with the seeds, it's got some texture. It reminds me a little bit almost like a boba drink. It looks like chia seeds.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Are there any alcoholic Persian drinks that you can think of?
Yeah, so do you want to talk about like Shiraz wine?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I like it. Is that enough? No, I think if you go back in history, the grapes of Shiraz wine came from a city named Shiraz in Iran. But today, I think most Shiraz wines come from France. And then another name for Shiraz wine is Syrah.
Cool. I think all those sharbats that we just talked about, you can spike that with your liquor of choice. And I know that there's like a restaurant here in San Francisco that serves pomegranate juice with vodka. So to make it like a fun Persian alcoholic beverage. But yeah, there's actually Persian beer too, which you don't see very much. But there's actually like a Persian brewery opening in New York, in Manhattan, I believe. I believe that her family would make beer in Iran back before the revolution. It's like a woman-owned beer.
I've seen that on Instagram. Yeah. So there's a Persian beer. But yeah, you could pretty much spike any of those juices, those sharbats, the Meeveh. The only thing I would definitely not care to spike is a yogurt-based drink or a dough. That would not be yummy.
Yeah.
One thing we didn't mention that definitely is part of Persian drinks is coffee. Most Iranians do drink tea, but many love coffee, myself included. I am a coffee fiend. I love it. And growing up, my grandma and my mom would make Turkish coffee.
Yeah, kahve Turk.
Kahve Turk. The fun memory I have about that is that you can get your fortune read from the thick grounds and sort of the residue that's left in the cup. Often there's like little trails. So my grandma used to call herself some sort of fortune teller, and she'd tell you what you wanted to hear, right? You're going on many trips. And
yeah,
I see a tall, handsome partner coming in your future with lots of children.
Yeah, I love that. We grew up with a Zoroastrian family close to us, and then the grandmother, Memas, we would call her, which I believe just means grandmother in Zoroastrian. And, I grew up without grandparents around, so I was trying to just fix on everyone else's grandparents. So I would call her Memas too, Memasi.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, basically you drink the coffee, this coffee that you're talking about that's very rich, and it's in these tiny little coffee cups, very small. So you're not like a coffee mug. It's like a very delicate, small little cup that had a handle and it had a little saucer. And so you drink the coffee with like whatever intention or whatever questions that you have to be kind of answered as you're like going to get your fortune told, essentially. And when you're done with the coffee, you invert the saucer on top of the cup and then flip it towards you.
Towards you. Yep.
And you set it down and you wait for it to dry. And once it dries, you can read the grounds of the coffee, like how some people would like read tea leaves. This is like it's reading the coffee grinds. And yeah, exactly. There's always like some sort of message, like in a form of like a telephone call or a letter. You're going to get some sort of news.
And then at the end, you basically take your finger and you rub the bottom of the cup. You kind of scoop the bottom of the cup.
Right.
And make a wish. And depending on how clear that is, that's kind of like how your heart or your soul is, like how you're feeling. And so it's very strong, rich coffee. I would drink as much of as I could, even like all the grounds. And it just makes you like wired. I would drink it all because I wanted not to have my heart be, too cloudy or something.
Yeah.
You know all the Farsi words for that, like making the wish.
Oh yeah, the niyat.
Uh-huh.
Like intention or like wish you have.
Yeah, and there's a lot of really trendy coffee houses and tea houses in Iran now. One day when I get to go back there, I'm going to go check those out. So don't forget that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have an Ask the Beats today.
Yeah, we do. It seems fitting as we're just finishing up talking about culture and special things that we would do is, what is tarof? So this question comes from Sarah from Laguna Beach, and she's asking, what is tarof?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So there's no literal translation for that word. I think it's kind of like a formality or like a politeness in our culture. And it sort of has to do with hospitality.
Yeah.
Persians are known to be very, very hospitable. And it's just kind of being overly polite and kind of outdoing each other with politeness almost. And like extending that invitation, whatever it is, sort of over and over again. Can you describe it maybe with an example?
Yeah, it's really just a form of hospitality, but sometimes it can be a little overt, a little done too much. And then sometimes it's done to such an extreme that it like loses its original intention. So taruf basically comes from like if you have someone over at your house, you taruf, you offer to them. So I think taruf is like offering to someone, you offer them tea, you offer them sweets or whatever. If you're out at a restaurant, you offer to pay for their food. You offer for them to go first, not only just at the table for food, but like, you taruf when you get to a door, like going through the passage of something, like you offer for the other person as a form of respect, hospitality, as a form of like putting the other person's needs or whatever in front of yours.
Yeah, and I think it's just to kind of make people feel welcome and loved, and I guess those are the positive forms of it.
Yeah, of course.
Some people prefer to be more straightforward and to kind of skip the tarof and get that out of the way and just say, hey, no tarof.
Yeah. Like if you don't want to do this, no tarof. Don't get stuck in this formality or this offering if it's not genuine.
It is what it is. I'm going to be totally just straight with you.
Exactly. It is hard to describe, and I think that goes back to like Persian hospitality in general and Persian culture in general. You're always trying to like give your best to your guests and share that love and wealth.
Abundance. Yeah. It's a culture of abundance. I think it's just one of those things that's really hard to put into words and it's better experienced. So come on over.
Yeah.
The pool is on. Lunch is here. Come on over. That's Taro.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this was wonderful.
Yeah. Thanks so much. I'm definitely thirsty now. So let's go have some of these fun drinks today and this summer. And thanks for the chat, Bita Jun.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. You've been listening to the Modern Persian Food Podcast with Beata and Bita. Thanks for spending time with us. If you've enjoyed what you heard today, consider telling a friend or giving us a good rating. You can subscribe to our show for free on your favorite podcasting app or find us online at modernpersianfood.com or on Instagram for the recipes and information we talked about today. We'd love to hear your thoughts and see you next time.